Hello, this is Dr. William Truly, Mayor of the City of Canton. If you already have a health problem, such as high blood pressure, lung disease, thyroid disease, diabetes, or heart disease, getting healthcare coverage may be difficult for you, if not impossible. Mike Espy wants you to have healthcare coverage even if you already have a healthcare problem. Sidney Hyde-Smith does not. When you think about this election between Mike Espy and Sidney Hyde-Smith, it's less about race and more about your health and the health of your family and the health of your children. Vote Mike Espy if you already have an illness and want health care coverage. Hello, this is Dr. William Truly, Mayor of the City of Canton. Black Mississippians, white Mississippians. Yesterday, I saw a green Mississippian, but all Mississippians want the same: a decent place to live, a decent job, the best education for themselves and their children, to be safe, to be secure, the right to be left alone, and the right to make their own decisions. Black Mississippians and white Mississippians, and even the green Mississippian I saw yesterday, all want hope and dreams and prosperity. And yes, a better tomorrow. Vote Mike Espy. Hello, this is Dr. William Truly, Mayor of the City of Canton. If you're watching Power, Empire, Medea, The Kardashians, The Housewives of Atlanta, The Young and the Restless, BET, stop and listen to me. Drop the remote. Whatever you're doing right now, go and vote for Judge Latrice Westbrook, Supreme Court Judge, Mike Espy for United States Senate, Congressman Benny Thompson for the 2nd Congressional District, and yes, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris for President and Vice President of the United States.
I'm Tonya G. Tune in every Sunday at 2 p.m. for The Tonya G Show. Let's talk health, politics, business, and more. Interested in being a guest? Email us at viralstreamtv.com. Streaming live on ViralStream TV on YouTube, powered by the KPG Agency. The Tonya G Show every Sunday at 2 p.m. on BDAY 99.1. Yes, we are live. Hello, and welcome to The Tonya G Show, where we discuss politics, community, health, and much more. Today, my guest is Sharon Brown, who does volunteer work with the Poor People's Campaign and is a community organizer here in Jackson, Mississippi. She's here to speak about what she does in that role and how we, the citizens, can become more engaged within our communities. Thank you so much for being here, Sharon Brown.
And thank you for the invite, sister.
Yes, indeed. I am well. So we are going to dive into a myriad of topics, but most importantly, we're going to talk about our community. So talk to us a little bit about what the Poor People's Campaign does and the volunteer work you do within the Poor People's Campaign.
The Mississippi Poor People's Campaign is one of the many poor people campaigns around the entire nation, and it's volunteer based. And what we do, we just look at different situations that's going on within the world, not just one particular community that deals with poverty, health care, warfare, criminal mass incarceration, criminal justice reform, and things like that. And so we all come together as volunteers and we take a look at the issues and we address them.
How you can make it better.
Right.
How long have you been doing that?
I started, I think, in 2014, 15.
And it just was something that weighed heavy on your heart in terms of the community. How did you get involved in it?
Well, actually, Mr. Frank Figures introduced me to Danielle Holmes, and so that's how I got into it. And so a lot of the activities here in Jackson that that go on, I mostly, plan the activities around it. Me and, others within the group.
Got you. So you also are a community organizer here in the city of Jackson. Speak on what you do within this role and some of the events and different functions you've spearheaded within the city.
Oh, gosh. I did Faces of Gun Violence, where we took the pictures of different ones who had lost their lives to gun violence, and we did a march against that. The situation that was going on within MDOC, me and other volunteers, we stopped traffic on State Street. During the pandemic, when it first hit, I led, me and 3 more other people. We realized that the kids wasn't going back to school after spring break, and so I was like, well, we got to feed them. And so I think the count was over 5,000 hot meals that we started serving immediately the Monday after spring break.
Wow. How did you get people to come together and, I guess, donate? Talk about just how you do that as a community organizer. What goes into doing that? Well,
as far as the donating part, most of it comes out of my pocket. It's not many donations that come in.
Right.
Sometimes I do get blessed by, maybe somebody like Miss Lambright at One Voice or Danielle Holmes. But basically, it's 3 or 4 of us that usually when I call and say, hey, we got to do something, then it's just ordinary people that will come together and chip in.
Gotcha.
And do it.
So you also have an event this evening. Talk about the bonfire and what you wish to accomplish this evening and what time that starts.
Well, the bonfire will be held in the bottom. It starts at 5:30. It's on the corner of Lindsay and Wainwright. That particular area in the 39209 zip code, the city and others have deemed it one of the most criminal places. I beg to differ. I see different. I know different. And so I was like, well, hey, let's have a barbecue.
Talk
and
about
a
the
bonfire.
issues.
Yeah, we're going to talk about our black vote and why it's important to vote.
Okay. Well, we're going to take a few quick minutes here to pay some bills. Don't forget, we are live streaming on YouTube at Viral Stream TV. So share the live stream link with your family and friends outside of the Jackson Metro. Also, for all of your final expense needs, please contact the kpgagency.com. I help people with final expense. We're talking about all things community based today, how you can get involved in the communities, how you can contribute to your communities. We have a lot of different things that plague the black community, so we need people to really come out and support and be a force so that we can have a brighter place for our children to grow up. If you want to learn more information about how you can volunteer with Sharon Brown, you can contact her at sharonbrown685@gmail.com. We'll be right back.
While the presidential election is top of the mind for most of us, we must remember we have more at stake on the ballot in November. From the U.S. Senate and House of Representative elections to the new flag design, there are important decisions to be made up and down the ballot. For more information on voting and the duties of elected officials, visit onevoicems.org. We must vote like our lives depend on it, because they do.
COVID has shown us life is not promised. It does not discriminate against race, gender, or age. Do you have life insurance coverage to protect you and your loved ones? Visit thekpgagency.com or call 601-500-2751 to start your policy today.
You're watching Viral Stream TV.
Yes, we are back live with my guest, Sharon Brown, who is a community organizer here in Jackson, Mississippi. Before we went to break, you were talking about the crime in the bottom, and you just begged to differ on, I guess, what the media reports.
Right.
I want to get into that a little bit. Do you think that there is a significant crime problem in Jackson? Now, we know some crime exists, but do you think it is as bad as the media portrays it to be?
I think that they happen. I think the numbers are true numbers, but you cannot police mental health issues. You cannot police domestic violence issues. And you certainly cannot police morality issues.
Right.
And so a lot of times if we fail to look at the root causes, no one ever stops to say, well, I wonder what happened.
Yeah.
I wonder why he would do that.
Right.
And until we really take a look at some of the root causes, because violence is a public health issue.
Right.
You know, it would just look like another number, another murder.
Indeed. I was reading an article on the Jackson Free Press, and it talked about the Jackson City Council approved $500,000 in September to look for jail space to rent for low-level offenses. What are your thoughts on that?
They could have used that $500,000 for a youth center, since they feel like our youth here in Jackson are out of control. Why not invest into the children?
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
My grandmother had a saying, out of mind is the devil's workshop.
Yes, indeed.
There is nothing positive and productive for our children to do. And so for them to say, well, we need $500,000 to house misdemeanors is criminal. Now that's criminal,
doesn't it?
That's criminal. You know, you could, and then at the officer's discretion, I think spitting on the sidewalk is a misdemeanor. Will you take me to Yazoo City for that?
I mean, in the grand scheme of things, Sharon, when we talk about the help that is needed in the Black communities, it does seem a little bit like a slap in the face for such a low criminal offense,
Right.
because Hinds County does not have the capacity to house the inmates, from my understanding, because of overflow from them waiting on trials for those who are incarcerated for a number of months and years. So it does seem a little counterproductive, and it counter perpetuates the school to prison pipeline mentality, in my opinion. I'm not saying that, you know, the police should be defunded, because I do think we do need the police, and I do think that for the job that they do, that they are underpaid. But I also feel that there's so many other positive resources where we can put our money to help our people, versus criminalizing and adding to this. We're violent, we're dangerous, we're a threat to society. Yes, crime exists, but there are also problems and reasons as to why it exists. So in your opinion, do you think that jobs are, you know, a large part as to factoring into the crime rate?
Yes. I mean, well, no, I wouldn't say the lack of jobs causes someone to murder someone.
Right.
But I can see where I'm hungry. I've asked for help. Nobody is trying to help me. So now I'm robbing somebody just to eat.
Right.
So in a sense, to a certain degree, yeah, I think the lack of economic opportunities is a factor, but it's not a major factor.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
As a community organizer, are you finding that there are a lot of families within the city of Jackson and other surrounding communities that are affected by not having Wi-Fi and access to broadband services so that our children can learn? Just what are you finding in that?
Oh my God, absolutely, yes. I mean, when they found out that the children would not be returning to the classroom, it's children now that they still does not have, they don't have what they need.
Right.
They're still doing the work off of packets. But yet when you look at other districts, they have everything they need.
I want you to talk about that when we come back from commercial break. Don't forget to watch us streaming live on YouTube at Viral Stream TV, powered by the KPGagency.com. We help people with life insurance. Please tune in. I have my guest Sharon Brown here. We're talking all things community. If you want to get involved in more community events in the city of Jackson, you can definitely reach her at SharonBrown685@gmail.com. We'll be right back after we pay these bills. Stay tuned to the Tonya G Show.
Y'all keep it locked. It's BDAY 99.1.
Democracy literally means power to the people. Not everybody's on board with that. Some people would rather not see you vote this November. They know that when you vote, things change. So here are some facts. Your state may have requirements to show some form of ID other than your voter registration card. You may have been removed from voter registration rolls or placed on a special inactive list without even knowing it. Someone at the polling place may give you a hard time because you moved, or because you haven't voted recently, or because you don't look like you belong, or for no reason at all. There may be a police presence or challengers trying to deter you from voting, but this is voter suppression. Do not let it stop you. You can go online to check your registration status, see important deadlines and rules for your state, find your polling place, and learn how to vote from home. You have a right to vote and to have your vote counted.
Y'all keep it locked. It's BDAY 99.1.
You're watching Viral Stream TV.
Yes, we are back live with my guest Sharon Brown here, community organizer in Jackson, Mississippi. We were talking about virtual learning and some of the children here in the city of Jackson not having access like their counterparts. Right. Speak a little bit more on that.
You know, when I reached out to different people to see what was the situation and what was going on, particularly over in the area where I be at. And so I don't, it's sad. It is truly sad that we cannot give our children what they need.
Right.
And then we expect for them to thrive and survive.
Right.
It's asinine to me.
It is. Let me ask you this. What are your thoughts on, because, Mississippi has more black legislators in any other state. And what would you like for our black legislators to be doing more of?
They need to be reaching out to corporations, getting more economic opportunities within their district. They need to start coming out in the community more often. Now, I'm not saying some of them, they come out, they're great. Right. They're in their district, they're doing the work. So don't take it personal. Not all. But don't really come around election time.
That's the only time you
That's the
see
only
a
time.
visible presence.
Some of them, I know for a fact, that's the only time they come out, and then they wonder why. But I just think they're in that position to be that state voice for the people within their district, and I think they should use it more.
Well, do you feel that the people in the community, we don't put enough pressure on our legislators to be the voice for us? It's kind of twofold. Yes, we most certainly need our black representation to be doing more, but we also need to be doing more in our community. So what could we do to require more of them from them?
Well, I think the thing about it is when we elect them, we trust them to do the right thing.
Ain't that the truth,
I mean, that's just like, I expect you to do
your
what's
job
right without me chastising you, just like a parent
what exists,
child.
right? Like you know the issues that
Absolutely.
exist, so I shouldn't have to. Gotcha.
But then we, as community members, need to understand that, just like in a parent-child relationship, when you don't do what you're supposed to do, then I need to come and talk to you because there will be consequences.
Right.
And that consequence will be you will not hold another term, instead of the same ones been in the same seat
over again
for 30 years or better.
Goodness. And no change.
And no
real
change.
On the heels of that, black churches and Greek organizations are very prevalent in the black community. Should our churches and our Greek organizations be doing more as well? What could they be doing more of?
I mean, they can do a lot because a lot of them have 50C nonprofits within their church that supposed to be for community help and community resources.
Gotcha.
But don't just create them just to create them to get funding.
Right.
And do bare minimum of the work that you could possibly do more of.
Is that what you're finding? Like you see a lot of nonprofits, but people are really not doing the work that's needed?
Yeah.
Wow.
Absolutely. Firsthand. I see it. They look good on paper, baby.
And that's it.
And that's it. They come out, take a few pictures, and that's it. And again, not all, but most.
But most. So we are on the heels of our presidential election coming up on November 3rd. It's not that not just the presidency that we are voting on. Why is it so important that we vote? Or do you think it's important that we vote at all, Sharon? And when I say we, I mean black people,
Right.
Does the vote
because nothing has never changed for us.
Nothing has changed, Sharon. But, I'm not trying to be cynical, and I'm not trying to devalue the importance of voting or the fact that people have died for our right to vote. However, just what are your thoughts on voting in this election?
I I think everyone that lives in the city of Jackson need to start voting for their local elected officials.
Hold that thought, Sharon. Don't forget, we are live streaming on YouTube at Viral Stream TV. Share this live stream link with your families and friends outside of the Jackson metro area. That is on YouTube at Viral Stream TV. Also, contact the KPG agency for all of your final expense needs. I help people with insurance. We'll be right back with my guest, Sharon Brown, after these messages.
Y'all keep it locked. It's BDAY 99.1.
November 3rd is an important election day. On this day, we will vote on a president, a Supreme Court justice, a new state flag, and several ballot initiatives. The Election Protection Call Center wants to make sure that all Mississippians can vote. Please call us with any questions about your voting rights at 888-601-VOTE. That's 888-601-8683. Our volunteers will be able to help you find out where to vote, check your voting status, let you know your voting rights if you have a felony conviction, and explain how to vote by absentee ballot. Remember, call 888-601-VOTE or 888-601-8683. This message is brought to you by the Mississippi Civic Engagement Roundtable.
You're watching Viral Stream TV.
We are back live with my guest, Sharon Brown, community organizer here in Jackson, Mississippi. We were talking about the importance of voting. Continue on with your thought.
Yeah, we definitely need to really begin to look at the importance of who we elect to our city council.
Indeed.
Because they really are in control of the city. And so, you know, it's just time for a change.
Right.
It's been time for a change. Vote like your life depends on it, because I'm telling you.
It truly does.
Yes.
So a couple of the initiatives and different things that are on the ballot is initiative measure number 65 that would allow Mississippian or qualified patients with debilitating medical conditions to use medical marijuana or medicinal marijuana. What are your thoughts on that? Should marijuana be legalized first of all, and should we be voting for this initiative?
I mean, absolutely. It needs to be legalized. So many people with, and I think about cancer patients. Chemotherapy kills every cell in your body almost.
And the nausea.
And the nausea,
right.
And the pain and suffering. And if anyone has ever seen someone with cancer, stage 4, you know. And if they could have something available to kind of offset some of those symptoms and side effects, then I think they
most
should.
Certainly should have access
I
to
really
that.
do
Right.
think they should, and I don't understand what's the big deal. They prescribe Adderall for our children, which is a downer.
Oxycodone and hydrocodone
Absolutely.
and tramadol and all of
Right.
these things that people misuse that is banned in Byram, because I had to go to the doctor a few months ago, and these 3 drugs are banned.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can't even get the prescription for it because it's abused. So
Right.
if you're going to legalize prescription drugs, surely, medicinal marijuana is not going to hurt. So also on the ballot, we have House Concurrent Resolution number 47. This is to vote on the Jim Crow era law designed to secure white supremacy in state politics. Mississippi is the only state with a multi-step process for electing statewide positions like governor, attorney general, and secretary of state. It's an electoral college-like voting system. If the amendment to simplify the process passes, advocates say it would spur spur more minority candidates to run for office in the Magnolia State. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, they really need to change it. Just
Indeed.
like with the Confederate emblem on the flag.
Right.
It's time for a change. You all say that you're for everybody, but you have
Does it show
draconian,
it? Right.
yeah, you have laws that
Say
clearly
otherwise, right?
affect African Americans.
Indeed.
So, I mean, come on, it's just time for a change, and it's time for all of us to stand up.
It really is, Sharon. So that is another thing that we're voting on. We're voting on the flag, and I think there have been talks about it saying in God we trust. What are your thoughts on the flag being changed after 126 years?
Thank God, because it does not represent. I actually was the sponsor of an initiative to get the Confederate emblem removed. It was One Flag for All coalition, and so we've been going with Danielle and Leah Campbell on the coast, and so many others talking and walking the halls, and it finally came to a vote.
And Danielle and Leah are they are part of the Poor People's Campaign.
Yes.
I don't know their titles
Yeah.
right off, but they do work within the
Good
Poor People's.
sisters.
Yes, indeed.
Yes.
So tell me your thoughts on our presidential candidates.
Baby.
What are your honest thoughts on where we are with the presidency? I have had a few people to say that they are, of course, going to vote for Biden because it's the lesser of two evils, not realizing that we're still voting for someone evil when you say that. But what are your thoughts on the presidential candidates?
It doesn't make me a difference who wins, because the state of African American affairs, I have not heard either candidate really
Speak to that.
talk about a good, strong, solid agenda for the uplifting of our people. I'm going to vote. Don't get me wrong.
Indeed, we are.
I will most definitely vote, but until I'm more so focused on group economics, us coming together in the community, putting some dirt under our feet to where we can get some real power and be about the change that we want to see. So
Right.
At that point, it wouldn't matter who the president is, because we'll be okay.
You better say that, Sharon. I'd like to thank Sharon Brown for coming by to chat with me today. Let's get out and do more within our communities, people. Invest in our surroundings, our properties, our education system. Let's invest in our children and their future. Thank you so much for tuning in today. To my viewers, you are appreciated. Shout out to BDAY 99.1 for having the Tonya G show on the airwaves, and Cunning Worker Productions for producing the show. Please subscribe, like, and share our YouTube channel, Viral Stream TV, and to catch up on all other shows and content you may have missed. For more information on how you can get engaged in your communities and to reach out to Sharon Brown, you can email her at sharonbrown685@gmail.com. Again, for all of your final expense needs, contact thekpgagency.com. We'll see you next time.
Y'all keep it locked. It's BDAY 99.1.
You're watching Viral Stream TV.
I'm Tonya Gray with your Insurance Minute. Life insurance comes in many forms, but it helps to first understand the two major types: term life insurance and permanent life insurance. Term life insurance covers the policyholder only for a predetermined amount of time, known as the policy's term. Terms typically last from 5 years up to 40 years, and insurance companies will only pay a death benefit if the policyholder dies within the limits of the term. On average, term policies are the most affordable type of life insurance on the market. Permanent life insurance stays in force for your entire life as long as your premiums are paid on time and in full. Unlike term life insurance, it builds tax-deferred cash value over time. A portion of the premium payments is designated for the cash value component. Value can build over time and at different rates depending on the type of permanent policy you have. Contact the KPG agency to find out more and start your policy today.
Y'all keep it locked. It's BDAY 99.1.
I'm Tonya G. Tune in every Sunday at 2 p.m. for the Tonya G Show. Let's talk health, politics, business, and more. Interested in being a guest? Email us at viralstreamtv.com. Streaming live on Viral Stream TV on YouTube, powered by the KPG Agency. The Tonya G Show every Sunday at 2 p.m. on BDAY 99.1.
Hello, this is Dr. William Truly, Mayor of the City of Canton. If you already have a health problem, such as high blood pressure, lung disease, thyroid disease, diabetes, or heart disease, getting healthcare coverage may be difficult for you, if not impossible. Mike Espy wants you to have healthcare coverage even if you already have a healthcare problem. Sidney Hyde-Smith does not. When you think about this election between Mike Espy and Sidney Hyde-Smith, it's less about race and more about your health and the health of your family and the health of your children. Vote Mike Espy if you already have an illness and want health care coverage. Hello, this is Dr. William Truly, Mayor of the City of Canton. Black Mississippians, white Mississippians. Yesterday, I saw a green Mississippian, but all Mississippians want the same: a decent place to live, a decent job, the best education for themselves and their children, to be safe, to be secure, the right to be left alone, and the right to make their own decisions. Black Mississippians and white Mississippians, and even the green Mississippian I saw yesterday, all want hope and dreams and prosperity. And yes, a better tomorrow. Vote Mike Espy.
Hello, I'm Carol Blackman. I'm the Mississippi Coordinator for Black Voters Matter Fund. We're working extremely hard here in Mississippi to help turn out the vote. We're doing door-to-door canvassing. We're doing caravans. We've been to every nook and cranny that we could think of. We've been to Columbus, Canton, Mississippi, Jackson, Mississippi, Goodman, Pickens, Durant, Lexington, Chula, Greenwood, Glendora, and those towns that I talked about are in the Mississippi Delta.
How y'all doing? How y'all feeling out here, Mississippi? Somebody tell me that can't nobody do it like you do it in Mississippi. We have been all over this country, and I'm listening, and I am so serious about this. There is no welcome we ever get like we get from our people here in Mississippi. Tell your family to vote today. We got to vote today, y'all. Say, vote for me.
Vote for me.
Until I can.
Until I can.
Vote for me.
Vote for me.
Until I can.
Until I can.
Did you know you can vote early? Most folks didn't know. You can actually go down today. You can do on-site absentee ballot voting. Today you can go down to the courthouse for in-person absentee. And don't wait till November 3rd, because we seeing all kind of tricks.
When you tell me that I or you or any of our folks can't wear this shirt as we are trying to give comfort to our brothers and sisters, what you are telling me is you're treating blackness like it's on the ballot. You're treating blackness like it's a political issue. We try to do whatever it takes because our folks deserve to be able to use and use their right to vote and not have to risk their lives and not have to starve doing it and not have to burn doing it in scenes that shouldn't have to worry about passing out because they don't have a seat. These are the kinds of things we try to do. They're saying that if you do it, that they're threatening to arrest our folks.
At the end of the day, we're affirming each other because we know what time it is, right? Yeah. We know what time it is. Yeah. And so there's some folks that are going out of their way to try to suppress our vote. And when they go low, we go hard. When they go low, we literally show our power. And so fundamentally, we are so happy to be here because we just want you all to know two things. One, that you are loved. We are not alone. When we work together, y'all, we win. In spite of the odds, whenever we stand together, we win. And so we've got the receipts to show that. Right here in the Delta, right, we got receipts to show that. The second thing is that not only are you loved, right, but you got power.
Everything we do is out of the spirit of love. In fact, one of my political mentors, somebody who used to be a mayor not too far from here in Jackson, Mississippi, told me that in order to serve the people, in order to lead the people, you got to love the people. You got to love them. Because if you don't love the people, you will betray the people. Come on. And so we travel around in all these states because we believe that in the spirit of love, merged with power, that we can get all the things that we dream for our communities. We can get all the things that we dream of for Canton. In this election, we have an opportunity, y'all, up and down the ballot, to show this country, to shock this country, to let them know that black folks in Mississippi have that power. And when we work together, we win. That is the only way that we have survived everything that we have been through in this country.
We got 3 generations of voters out here, y'all. This is how powerful this is. We got 3 generations, so we got...
Miss Beatrice White, she's 91.
Beatrice White, how you doing? Do you want to say a word?
She's just happy to be here.
You want to say a word?
It's her first time vote. She's 91 years old.
We're encouraging people to get out to vote now who can, those who are 65 and older, to go vote absentee. And at the end of the day, we want everyone who has not already done so to get out to vote on November 3rd.
BDAY 99.1 Classic Hip Hop back in the day jam show. Jabot right here in Canton, Mississippi with Black Voters Matter. Man, this is a serious situation. If you're looking for, look right behind me, the bus for Black Voters Matter is here. And right in front of me, there's a lot of people out here interested and want to know what's going on in the city of Canton. And I have my man Cedric Jackson with us. And Cedric, are you from Canton?
Yes, sir. Born and raised.
All right. Now, why are you here, sir?
I'm here because in this particular area right here in Canton, Mississippi, the county of Madison County here in Mississippi, we need to get out and vote, period. Simply because of the fact we have a lot of complaints. There's a lot of advantages and disadvantages to voting. With the atmosphere that's in our country today, as a nation as a whole, there's no excuse for not being out here. Let me say this first. I'm proud, and I want to just thank the Power Tour for being out and coming through this area, because we desperately need it in this area. Even for our local elections, we need to get out and vote. And a lot of people in this area, we have a lot of complaints. We talk about racial issues. We talk about, police brutality and all those different things. But at the same time, if you don't vote, you don't have a voice. You talk it, then vote it. If you have a problem, you need to vote. But those who don't vote seem to have all the problems and all the issues. Think about it. Just think about it. Look where all the problems are. But in those areas, those problems exist simply because people don't get out and vote.
Absolutely. Y'all heard it from my man Cedric Jackson. Y'all keep it locked. We are broadcasting live. We got Power Tour. Black Voters Matter. It's BDAY 99.1.
My organization, Zeta Phi Beta Sorority, is partnering with Get Out the Vote efforts across the country because we understand how important the Get Out the Vote effort is. As an individual, what I'll tell you is that I grew up in a household where voting was, we talked about it at the dinner table, they took us to vote with them, and so I know that votes change things, and so I'd just like to encourage everyone to get out and vote. If you vote early, great. If you're voting on November 3rd, no matter how long the line is, I'm encouraging you to stay in line because your voice matters and your vote matters. Well, I think it just brings further awareness to the importance of your voice and your vote. I think it lets people know that people know and understand, and we're asking that you come out and support this effort and get your vote counted. Again, your vote is your voice, and if you don't vote, you have no voice.
BDAY 99.1 Classic Hip Hop back in the day jam show. Jabot hanging out with you. We are broadcasting live from Canton, Mississippi. And of course, we have the founding father of Black Voters Matter. Cliff, what's going on, man?
So we got Power Tour. Like you said, we going all across the country. We hit about 14 states, spreading the message that in these times we in right now, in the times of coronavirus, in times of police violence, in times of historic protests, in the times of voter suppression, it's more important than ever that we go see our folks, let them know in every state and every county that we can touch that we got power. We got the power to come up out of all of this. We got the power to change our situation. We got power to use our vote up and down the ballot, from the White House on down to the city council chambers. We got the power to deal with all these situations. When we work together, we win. That's the message that we're giving as we travel around. And we're going to be, like you said, in Mississippi, not just here in Canton, right? But we're going to be in Jackson. We're going to be in the Delta. We just left Louisville. So we're going all over the state delivering the same message. We got power.
Y'all heard it from my man Cliff right here. Y'all keep it locked. BDAY 99.1. We're broadcasting live.
We are with Your Vote Matters, which is a coalition of 21 of the state's top nonprofits, nonpartisan organizations, and they have collectively gotten together to bring people out to the polls, and particularly 65 and older persons, to go ahead and do absentee voting so that they don't have to worry about social distancing or having to wear masks on the day of and those long lines. They can do it here at the courthouse now until October 31st and take advantage of the opportunities that are being presented with absentee voting and them not having to have an excuse. We're happy to partner with the Black Voters Matter, and having the bus here really just signifies unity and bring people out to let them know that they have support and they are very much valued. I do want to recognize some of the nonprofits and that are part of this coalition. That'll be the Southern Regional Office of the Children's Defense Fund, the NAACP, the Southern Poverty Law Center, the Mississippi Center for Justice, the ACLU, One Voice, just to name a few.
BDAY 99.1 Classic Hip Hop back in the day jams. You're with Gerald Jabot, broadcasting live, Canton, Mississippi, for the Black Voters Matter We Got Power Tour. And of course, listen, I've been trying to get this lady like on the phone, can't get her on the phone, can't get her to text me, nothing. And now I finally got her with me, man. It's Miss Tonya Brown with Black Voters Matter. Now, Tasha, you tell us how Black Voters Matter started.
I will, but Gerald, you can always get me, brother. If you the one the phone call, you call me, I'm gonna pick up.
You better.
When I can.
Of course.
But we started Black Voters Matter 3 years ago. We wanted to create an organization that would support Black grassroots work because we believe that's how we build power. From the bottom up, not the top down. Right. And so we wanted to start in the South. We started in 7 states in the South, Mississippi being one of the first states we started with. We work with grassroots organizations, providing resources for them, strategizing with them. And we don't just do election work, we do power building work. We're trying to build power for our people. So some of the work that we do is around elections. Some of it is around really building the capacity of organizations that are on the front lines doing the work. And the third is narrative change. We want Black folks we want us to affirm who we are, that we have power. Even when you see our bus on the big old, the blackest bus in America, what we say is we have power. We've got power, y'all. And we want to remind our people that we have power. We want to remind our people that they're important. And we want to remind our people that they are loved.
Absolutely. Now, with the Black Voters Matter starting 3 years ago, because that's when I met you guys 3 years ago, yeah. And y'all, this was one of the cities that you really started in. Well, Jackson was. And since then, you guys have been working year-round, actually, rather than just during election time. You want to elaborate on that a bit?
That's right. 365, baby. We work every single day because our goal is to build power. It's not just around elections. You know, there are groups that only show up around elections. It's kind of like that friend that you got that only call when they want something.
When they want something to eat.
And you see that number, you're like, oh, man. Right? We don't want to be that kind of organization. Our goal is to build power with our people, whether there's an election happening or not. We all deserve, our community deserves power. We deserve to make sure that we're holding officials accountable. We deserve to work together where we're building a vision collectively together, that we're radically reimagining this country. So we're doing work because we're trying to fundamentally change the trajectory of our community and build power. And so November the 3rd, we're going to be working, and guess what? On November the 4th, we're going to be back at it.
We're going to be celebrating.
We're going to be celebrating, but we're going to be working too. We're going to be back at it.
Absolutely. Listen, man, y'all got Tasha Brown, LaTasha Brown, that is the legendary LaTasha Brown. Black Voters Matter. We got Power Tour and campaign going on in the state of Mississippi now. We will be broadcasting with them live. We'll be with y'all in Jackson tomorrow, right?
You'll be with us in Jackson, Mississippi. We want people to come out and join us, caravan with us. You can tweet us, follow us on Twitter, on the social media, or you can text us. Text We Matter to 797979. We Matter to 797979, and you can stay connected to the work that we're doing. We're now working in 15 states, but let me tell you, Mississippi was always one of the first states, right? Because this is where our roots run deep, right? My own personal roots run. My father's from Mississippi. My family is from Mississippi. So Mississippi roots run deep. Like literally, if we change and when we change Mississippi, we're going to change this nation.
Oh my gosh, y'all heard it from LaTasha Brown herself. Now, I've been seeing you like on these Netflix things and all kinds of stuff. I'm like watching Netflix one day, I was like, oh my gosh, that's Tasha. So you've been doing a lot of work, huh?
We try to get it in. We in these streets.
Oh my God.
We're trying to get it in. Our people deserve. This is our moment. I do think that this is a particular kind of moment. This isn't about Trump and Biden. This is about us, y'all. Absolutely. And this is really about, we are tired of not having the things that we need in our community. So we got to literally go and try to build as much power as possible so that we can change our community to what it is that we envision it to be.
We're broadcasting live right here in the city of Canton, Mississippi. Tomorrow we will be in Jackson, Mississippi. And on Tuesday, we will be with Black Voters Matter. We got Power Tour in the Delta, right there in Delta, Mississippi. Y'all keep it locked, man. It's BDAY 99.1.
Thank you, man. Good evening, everybody. A good day. Yeah. Getting ready for November 3rd. Yeah. And we're going to make sure, we're going to show them that Black vote does matter. So we're asking you, make sure that you get them out the house, friends, cousins, enemy, everybody. Just tell them we're going to come out here and show them that Black vote does matter. So thank y'all, thank everybody for coming today, and let's show them that who we are on November 3rd.
BDAY 99.1 Classic Hip Hop back in the day jams. Gerald Jabot out here in Canton, Mississippi with the mayor of Canton, Mississippi, Dr. Truly, and he's out here telling everybody in the city of Canton. He's got his whole city almost out here, man. It's crazy.
Well, this is critically important. The black vote has always been important. I think what has happened is that there have been so many people who have devalued the African American vote and devalued the vote. I think what's important is that we don't do that. We don't devalue ourselves and we don't devalue our vote. Everybody on the sound of my voice and who can hear me and who can see me, I'm telling you that you have got to vote this time. Now, if you didn't vote in the last presidential election, you've got to vote in this election. We have got to get Trump out of office. He's not in the best interest of the country, not in the best interest of African Americans, not in the best interest of anyone that I know of. So I'm saying to all Cantonians that, look, guys, you got to drop the corona. You got to come away from whatever you're doing, the day of our lives, the Hollywood wise or whatever, and vote on November the 3rd. And that is extremely important that because if you don't vote, you're still going to be controlled. You're still going to be under the rules and laws that Congress passes, that the Supreme Court passes. So don't stay home. Take your mother with you. Take your whole household with you. Social distance and be safe. But whatever you do, if you don't ever vote again, this century, you've got to vote November the 3rd.
So do you think voting in America should be like a national holiday or something like that?
Well, it is a national holiday. And it's a national holiday because millions and millions, over 60 million Americans are going to be out celebrating. What are they celebrating? Some are celebrating, take us back to the days of yesteryear. Some are celebrating, no, we don't want to do that. We want to move forward with everybody. We don't want to leave anybody behind based on the color of their skin, their heritage, or their national origin, or their belief. That's a celebration. So it needs to be a holiday. Every 4 years, voting needs to be a holiday and give everybody an opportunity to vote. And even if you don't sanction it as a holiday, it is still a holiday. This is the most critical moment in American history where you have a government and you have a leader who's in the process of basically destroying democratic principles. And this is not who we are. This is not, maybe that's who we were in the 16th century, in the 17th century. But the days of isolation and segregation, that's over, or at least it should be over. And we have to value each other as Americans. And we have to learn that from the dinner table. I always ask the question, how did Rittenmeyer, who was a little guy with the AR-15 or whatever he had, who was 15, 16, 17 years of age, how did he evolve into what we saw on TV? He must have learned that across time, across a period of 400 years. Somebody's passing down this time capsule of hatred, segregation, isolation, and white supremacy. That's not who we are. And if we're not careful, white supremacy will become the norm. And once it becomes the norm, then we all need to find another country, because the America that we know will be something different. And the only way we can keep it from becoming something different is that we have to vote. We have to vote and save our democracy, save each other, and so everyone can be treated the same.
All the way from the mayor of Canton, Mississippi. We're right here in Canton, Mississippi. Dr. Truly, we've got Power, Black Voters Matter campaign and bus tour going on right now. Y'all keep it locked. It's BDAY 99.1.
I'm here to support voting for African Americans. I am the director of a SPARK program that's owned and operated by Children's Defense Fund of Jackson. And so we're here to just support people who are elderly to get into the voting booths and cast their votes today. Well, we made a lot of contacts trying to get others to come out and participate today to vote. And so when the bus comes, we hope other people, and whatever we can do to assist as a group, we will.
This is an awesome event right before the most critical election of our lifetime on November 3rd for us, not only to get voters out, but to get black voters out. And so we're partnering with Black Voters Matter here in the city of Greenville. We've met them at the county line right here at the historic courthouse of Washington County Circuit Courthouse. Right behind me, folks who's on the slave auction block. Today, we're gonna go to the voting box. And so what we do is make sure that we vote for those critical issues that affect black people: education, healthcare, criminal justice reform, infrastructure. We're in a pandemic, and you can see from Greenville, Mississippi to Green Bay. You can see right here from Jackson, Mississippi to Jacksonville, Florida, that African Americans are disproportionately impacted by coronavirus. And so when we talk about healthcare, it's very important that we get to the box to make sure we vote for the right folks who are trying to keep our healthcare. My grandmother is 92 years old, and she deserves a healthcare. We got to make sure we expand Medicaid in this state. That has not been done. So there are critical things on the ballot. And if I had to sum it up, on November 3rd, what's on the ballot? Justice is on the ballot. And it's critical, it's important, it's life or death. It's dire that the people in this community and around the world and around the country vote on November 3rd. Our interests, black voters' interests, Black Voters Matter. I matter, you matter, we matter. Black Voters Matter.
BDAY 99.1 Classic Hip Hop back in the day. Jams Cheryl Chabot is right here with Carol Blackman of Black Voters Matter, and she's going to tell you why they're all out here today doing what they do.
We've been in 10 states, and God only knows how many cities. But in Mississippi on yesterday, we were in 5 counties and 10 cities. So we're really excited. This is our second stop today. People are really cranked up. They're motivated, they're ready to get out here and vote. They know that this vote is important, and they're ready to just come out and do the thing. And we are here helping to crank them up.
How has the turnout been with Black Voters Matter so far?
Oh, things have been wonderful. We've been encouraging people to go early vote. People have been turning out. In states like Mississippi, they're going to the polls to absentee vote. So I think it's just wonderful that we have these opportunities and tools to get people to the polls so everybody does not have to wait until November 3rd. And as a matter of fact, I voted last Wednesday.
Listen, they are out here grinding really, really hard. Listen, man, we're broadcasting live right here in Canton, Mississippi. Tomorrow we'll be in Jackson, Mississippi, our hometown. And, of course, Tuesday we'll be riding along with the Black Voters Matter squad and the tour bus into the Delta. So make sure y'all hang out with us. Follow everything that we do. Y'all keep it locked. It's BDAY 99.1.